Greetings everyone, this is Connor from DagoraTV, and in this video we're going to be breaking down and talking about the Bethesda press conference in detail at E3 2016. Okay, so we have the second ever Bethesda E3 press conference. We had the first one last year, and this one was basically the sequel to last year. You know, we have like a lot of new stuff that was announced and everything, but it didn't have that Fallout punch, so people was kind of wondering, you know, what's going to be revealed, what's going to be happening at this E3, and it was very exciting. Of what we got to saw, in my opinion, I think we got a lot of really cool and great stuff at Bethesda this year. I thought it was a solid press conference. You know, maybe the Dishonored stuff went on a little bit too long at the end, a little bit, but all in all, I thought it was a very solid conference, and we're just going to go straight into it and talk about it now. So, id Software. They come out at the very beginning, well, with a trailer and talking about Quake Champions, the new Quake game that they've got, which has probably sent people, a lot of older gamers, into raptures, because Quake is a very, very good, very good game from the past, and also a very inspirational and influential game from the past in Quake. And Quake Champions is going to be a very interesting game to see what it's going to be like, because the first Quake was 20 years ago, and they talked about that on the stage, and how they talked about QuakeCon this year, which is Bethesda's press conference for Quake. That they get a lot of people playing the game and everything. And Quake Champions is going to be showing off a lot more there. We got a trailer this time, and it was a very good trailer, good hype trailer. I thought it was interesting, one of the most entertaining trailers of E3, in my opinion, and I thought it was really cool. And it's going to be running, and it's going to only be on PC, running at 120Hz with unlocked frame rates, which is, great for a lot of people. What people really want. Interesting, it's only coming on PC. They could have gone and broke the bank to get it out on the console, and really kind of go against the real, I wouldn't say style, but the kind of heritage of Quake, which has basically been a PC arena shooter. But no, they're staying true to Quake, and it's going to have that fast, action-packed fun of Doom, it looks like, as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how Quake is going to be doing. One thing they can't do with Quake is what they did with Doom, and they cannot fuck up the multiplayer, because it's going to be treasure to a lot of people. But I'm definitely really interested to see more on Quake in the future. It's good to get id Software to be doing it as well. They did shooting and doing really good, but it's going to be interesting to see how the multiplayer goes down, and how the reaction to it has been really good for a lot of people. I think people are really interested and excited to see what's going to be happening in the future concerning Quake, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what it's going to be. Someone who hasn't played Quake before, but Quake Champions looks interesting. It's a good trailer. Looking forward to seeing more at QuakeCon. Pete Hines then comes out. He's basically the creative director, or the kind of head of PR, basically, Bethesda, and he is basically saying, thanks for a really decent year, for Bethesda. Fantastic year last year for how they had, and this year promises to be one of the biggest ever in the company's history, because they've taken more steps into becoming more of a publisher, which is a huge step for a company that really published a few games, but on the grand scheme of things, made games at the start, and then have branched out and further each year, and becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and talked about, and they've got things like Quake under there, and Doom, and Elder Scrolls, and Fallout on there, and they've got a lot, to talk about. So this is when they talked about Elder Scrolls Legends, the card game, the CCG that they've got coming out relevant to the Elder Scrolls series, which not a lot of people are interested in, I think, aside from the Elder Scrolls fan base. But if you're a CCG fan, I think you should be interested in this as well, because it's very different, to things like Hearthstone and things like that, because it's got, things like prophecies and the lane system that it's got, and it's got fantastic card art. And if you're an Elder Scrolls fan as well, it's got a story which we got details on, a story about a moth priest named Kellen, and it's about a forgotten emperor, and we make choices to actually interact with the story in this game, and it's coming to phones as well. Elder Scrolls Legends is coming to phones, along with, the Windows PCs and also the Macs that it's got coming out with, which is interesting to a lot of people, because I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to come to phones. I was expecting it just to be Windows and Apple, computers, but it's not. It's going to be good to play Legends when I'm in bed, just on the phone, basically playing it, and it's going to be. I'm looking forward to playing Legends. It was good to see more in it, good to see some details on the single-player story, what it's going to be entailing, and it's about a forgotten emperor and a moth priest, and we make choices. So I think I'm going to be playing it for the lore. I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff about it. And Bethesda, send me a beta invitation, please. I want to get in. I'm begging you. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing more, and hopefully we'll see more at QuakeCon and Gamescom and things like that later this year. We then get into a look at what's happening at Bethesda Game Studios, and I thought it was a very good idea from P. Hines to not let Todd Howard come out on stage and actually have a video, because if Todd Howard did actually come out on stage, I think everyone would have been expecting an Elder Scrolls 6 announcement, and then people would have been disappointed with announcing Fallout DLC and the Skyrim House Edition. So I thought it was a good move A quick breakdown of the DLC that they've got coming out is that they've got a DLC called Fallout Contraptions, which is out next week, which looks like we can make a lot of really cool maps, and the community's going to have a really great time with that, especially when it comes down to the people who really enjoy the settlement building, because there's definitely a lot of cool puzzles and cool little games that they could play with them, especially with that ball kind of going down that little maze and the slide and everything. I thought that looked a lot of fun. The most interesting one for me is the Vault Tech Workshop, which is coming out in July 2016, where people can actually make their own vault and keep track of their own vault. And it's going to. I don't know if this is going to tie with Fallout Shelter. I imagine it will. I hope it will. I think it would be a cool way to if they do kind of tie in together, because the Fallout Shelter PC edition is coming out also in July, so kind of having two kind of coming out roughly the same time regarding vaults, which is the most interesting part of Fallout for me. The Fallout lore, the vaults, and being able to make your own is very, very cool, and I think a lot of the Fallout community is going to be really excited about being able to make their own vault, which is really cool. The next bit they announced as well was Fallout Nuka World, which is, it seems like a second kind of major expansion for Fallout 4, as we had Far Harbor, which has kind of gone, really good for some people and really bad for others. So it's going to be interesting to see how Nuka World does. That's coming out in August 2016, which I think people will be getting very excited about, because, any major expansion people are going to be hyped about for any game, especially for something like Fallout. And then we got the Fallout Shelter update when it comes down to quests, and we're getting a PC version that's coming out in July. Quest is something that's really needed for that game to kind of improve its longevity, because not really many people are playing it anymore, because, it died out for a lot of people. But Quest is something that I think is going to bring a lot of people back, because there's actually an incentive to do things now, and actually reasons to do stuff. The next announcement we got then was from Todd Howard, when he set off a little video, and it was saying that we're working on something that you keep asking us about, and it was the Skyrim Enhanced Edition. Looks a lot better, volumetric lighting, new textures, all that good stuff, improved foliage, it all looks really cool. Definitely the atmosphere looks a lot better, and it's coming out the 28th of October 2016, and it comes with mods on consoles, which people on consoles will be very excited about, to get all that new stuff on there, the new weapon sets, new quests and things like that, on all that great stuff. And also it's a free upgrade as well on the PC. If you already own Skyrim with all the DLC, you get the upgrade for free, which is tremendous, as I think as well a lot of people want. And apparently it's really good for modders as well, because it's using the DirectX 12 new feature, and I think that's going to be really cool for a lot of people. We then get Arcane Studios coming out, which comes out with one of the surprises of the tournament, where we get this trailer with the guy with the red eye called Morgan, and the game's set in 2032. And the game's called Prey, and I called this on the GNM podcast. I don't know if you listened to it, but I freaking called it. And it's basically, the revamped Prey 2, because Prey 2, we saw a lot of it, and then it kind of got abandoned, and now Prey's kind of come back. It's been asked about, it's been a rumour for a lot of time, and yeah, there's definitely, really a lot of people are going to be excited about playing it. I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff on Prey, as, it's been kind of in the wind for a long time, but it was a cool trailer, cool cinematic, and yeah, definitely it's got that psychological thriller aspect to it, which I think a lot of people are going to be interested about, and so I'm definitely going to be seeing more, and they said they're going to be revealing more at QuakeCon later in the year. Then, we get Doom stuff. We get id Software and Doom. We said they're releasing a ton of multiplayer and single player additions to the game. The first expansion is going to be Onto the Evil, which is going to have 3 new multiplayer maps, new playable demon, and also a ton of new different stuff as well. And you can also get a free demo for this week, so if you haven't tried Doom yet, you can go and download it and play it for this week, the first level. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun for people. It's only 6 gigabytes if you're playing it on the PC, so definitely give it a go if you haven't played it. And it's good to see a lot of new cool additions to the single player and multiplayer, that they haven't just really released the game and just leaving it. They're still keeping to mind with the game and seeing how much fun people are kind of having with it. We then get Matt Firor out, the game director of The Elder Scrolls Online, and he says that it's going to be launching in Japan this year, June 23rd, so obviously going to be improving the player base there. I mean, it's taken a while to come out in Japan, like 2 years. I mean, 2 years and a couple of months. I mean, that's a long time to wait for it to come out on Asian markets, but it's come out over there. And they also announced this thing called One Tamriel, and also a lot of figures about how 7 million people are playing the game and all that stuff, and all that bollocks. All them bloated figures to make the game sound a lot better. They're like it's having a lot better business than what it is actually having. But One Tamriel is basically now sets levels directly to you, so people can get out quests with you all the time and things like that. You can kind of go anywhere and explore the place. So if you're an Elder Scrolls fan who haven't played this game because you can't explore, now's the time to get in with Elder Scrolls One Tamriel. And also the game is now under one complete server, so we can play with people on console and the Daggerfall Covenant if we're in the Army of Dominion. We can play different factions together, we can hop across the whole world and everything. fantastic, you know, really great stuff. This is what it needed. We can now play with our friends properly, and it's a great feature to announce. And this is launching this fall, which I think people is going to be very, very excited about. And I think it looks very, very cool. Bethesda VR then, we go into the virtual reality side of Bethesda, and they announced two kind of titles or two projects that they're getting, and Doom is one of them, and Fallout 4 is also another one, or Fallout VR, which is another VR project, and this is coming out in 2017 on the HTC Vive, and I think Fallout VR is going to go down an absolute storm with the Fallout fans to be able to explore in the VR world, and it's probably going to drive sales of the HTC VR to no end, to be honest with you. We also then get Harvey Smith from Dishonored 2 to come out, and he's then talks about Dishonored for quite a lot of time. You know, this probably goes on for a little bit too long, but I was very excited to see some stuff on Dishonored, and it's really made me excited for the game, as it's on the Empire of the Isles, and it's very Victorian inspired, also inspired a little bit by Greece and Cyprus and places like that, kind of like a hybrid of the two. And it seems to be very much a living, breathing world. Some of the stuff that they showed of, you know, people going to work, but they also go home, and, you know, how do they go to work, why do they do that, and there's talking about all these questions. It was very cool, the stuff that he was talking about on stage, of all the different, you know, all the different things the NPCs are doing, and it's not just literally guards just standing there 24/7, like in games like Styx Master of Shadows, for instance. It's actually got, you know, reasons to be there and everything, which I thought was really cool. And also, in the story setting of the game, it's set 15 years after the first game, so Emily is now a full-grown adult, and she is one of the two people that we can play. We can play him or the protagonist from the previous game, and it definitely seems to be a really interesting, you know, kind of setting in the world and everything, the place of the story and everything, as the Overseers are now at war with the Howler Gang, which is in the Dust District, and you can kind of side with either. And there's definitely a lot of really different stuff that we can play. What the most interesting thing that I saw there, well, what we also saw at the Bethesda press conference, was the Crack in the Slab mission, which takes place in a ruined manor, and your supernatural powers won't work there, but you get to hold this kind of lantern, which gets you to see, you know, the place in the present day and also in the past as well. And we kind of hop through different dimensions and kill guards, you know, get behind guards in the past and then in the present, sorry, and then warp to the past and then kill them in the past. It's very, very weird, but looks great. It looks really cool, really interesting. I'll definitely have to see more on that. So please check out all the different videos that I've got out for all the retrospective games that I've got from E3. I've got individuals on a lot of different stuff on here, and I'm going to be a lot more E3 coverage coming out on the channel very, very soon. Follow me on Twitter at DagoraC, Twitch also at DagoraTV, and also follow me on Patreon and check me out on Patreon as well, so if you want to go a step further and donate. So thanks a lot for watching, and I wish you check out a lot of my other videos that I've got on the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.